Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, Tzu Chi volunteers in New Zealand are handing out new shoes to 86 needy students in Christchurch. As we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Jingsu Books and Cafe, we learn how the 89 bookstores worldwide is creating a cycle of goodness in local communities. And 3 years after Typhoon Morakot ravaged southern Taiwan, Pingdong's Lingbian residents are making changes to safeguard our environment. Following the strong earthquake that struck Christchurch of New Zealand last February, Tzu Chi volunteers in Auckland have paid regular visits to poor students in Christchurch. Today, the volunteers have returned once again to hand out new shoes to 86 needy students.
As Tzu Chi volunteers drive onto the campus of St. James Elementary, 2 students dashed out to give them a warm welcome. Later, the students put on a special Maori performance. It is winter in New Zealand now, but 86 students at St. James Elementary cannot afford to buy new shoes. Receiving a letter asking for help from the principal, volunteers first visited the school to survey the needs of students, and today they are here to complete the shoe distribution.
We hope with these shoes, everyone can keep you not only warm on your feet, but also in your heart, especially in this cold winter.
Thank you for giving us special shoes.
Besides providing the students with new shoes, the volunteers also share the spirit of bamboo era and encourage the students to save money for the needy.
50 cents or 3 New Zealand cents is not a big money, but we can accumulate the small money and make it become a big money, so we also can help people.
To show their appreciation to the Tzu Chi volunteers, students present another song, and their smile and happiness are the best gifts that the volunteers could have.
Recently, South Africa Tzu Chi volunteers held a winter aid distribution in Spruit, a poor district in Pretoria, helping 11,000 families. Besides the usual rice and cooking oil, volunteers also distributed handbags and shoes to residents, bringing much joy to the hearts of residents.
Are you happy?
Very happy. Give me a handbag.
Despite the shoes and handbags being secondhand, the residents of Spirit Pretoria are still overjoyed at receiving such items at the winter aid distribution. As eating and keeping warm has become their main priority in life, anything else has become secondary.
This area is mainly inhabited by migrants without ID. Most of them are without jobs and are very poor.
Tzu Chi volunteers arrive at the district of Spruit in South Africa's administrative capital of Pretoria to aid 1,100 impoverished families through the distribution of rice, corn, soap, gloves, and other necessities.
Today, nearly 60 Tzu Chi volunteers and 40 local volunteers will be here.
Distribution volunteers come in all ethnicities. As this father brings his daughter to help out, you can see that a warm smile has brought South Africa together.
years ago, the first Jingsi Books and Cafe was established at Taipei's Xinyi district. At present, there are 89 Jingsi Books and Cafe around the globe, of which 52 are in Taiwan. Over the years, the bookstores have attracted people from all walks of life. Their moving stories have been compiled into books along with Ciji songs.
欢迎光临静思书轩，欢迎光临静思书轩。
This year, Jingsi Books and Cafe is 10 years old, and over the past 10 years, it has attracted people from all walks of life.
我第一次来静思书轩是借厕所。
The first time I visited the Jingsi Books and Cafe was because I needed to use the washroom. When I walked into the store, I was attracted by the books, the coffee aroma, the whole environment.
这个气场是对的。
Inside the Jingsi Books and Cafe, one sees the absence of luxury decorations, but the books and simple decorations are all embedded with Dharma and life wisdom.
There are many touching stories that have occurred at the Jingsi Books and Cafe over the past 10 years. The bookstore has given many people the strength to move on.
The touching stories have been compiled into books, and through the Ciji songs, everyone can understand the changes in the bookstore over the past 10 years.
静思书轩里面，
Most of the songs we play at the Jingsi Books and Cafe have a special meaning. Through listening to the songs, we hope everyone can feel the changes that have occurred in the bookstore over the years.
成长。
For the past 10 years, the Jingsi Books and Cafe has not only been providing its guests with a relaxing and calming environment, but also spreading goodness and beauty.
Throughout the years, the Jingsi Books and Cafe in Taiwan have hosted at least 1,800 spiritual workshops. Guest speakers at the event included artists, corporation directors, athletes, volunteers, and many more. Next, we meet the CEO of Acton Technology Corporation, Huang Anjie, who was inspired to join Ciji after giving a lecture at the bookstore.
I hope we can have these Jingsi Books and Cafe everywhere. This is my biggest wish because it is a good ground for cultivation.
Introduced by a friend, the CEO of Acton Technology Corporation walked into the Jingsi Books and Cafe to find a place of warmth and humanity. Later, he was also encouraged to give speeches at the spiritual training seminars.
10 years ago, when I started giving speeches, I felt that I was doing great and didn't put much thought into the lectures. After the speeches, I was ashamed.
我们的妈妈、爸爸都跟我们说，希望你这辈子过得健康、快乐、幸福。
After repenting when giving lectures, Huang always shares everything unselfishly. When facing a business crisis, Ciji gave him the strength to move on. Later, he was also certified as a Ciji volunteer. 4 years ago, he even joined the cleanup of the aftermath of Typhoon Morakot.
From joining the volunteer training program to becoming a certified Ciji volunteer, I have gained much wisdom. Ciji has opened a part of my heart and given me strength.
Through Master Zhen Yan, Huang sees the power of tenderness and the Jingsi aphorisms as the best training manual for a corporation. Bags of products from Jingsi Books and Cafe are the gifts Huang Anjie has prepared for his friends and customers.
When you give people expensive things, they might not cherish it. They will probably be happy for 2 minutes or a week. But if you give them something like this, it will inspire them.
他会感动很久很久。
因为沟通要先有一个共识，而这个共识。
Shi Zhenrong, who is the founder of Acer Corporation, often shares his experiences at the spiritual training seminars held at the Jingsi Books and Cafe. He hopes to spread good thoughts and happiness to everyone that attends the event.
祖先的书呢？
The books in the Jingsi Books and Cafe can spread happiness to many people. It is very important because sometimes happiness is only a
有
thought.
时候是一个意念而已嘛。自己抓定主意，什么是对的，什么错的，就是坚持。
Understanding Master Zhen Yan's intention, Shi Zhenrong suggests that to have a harmonious society, everyone needs to play their role in their lives.
有领导人向上人，
We have Master Zhen Yan guiding us, and we can influence even more people. This is something that cannot be done in a day or two. For something like humanity, it will take 30 years, 50 years, or even longer.
这样慢慢的去影响下去了，尤其文化的东西。
For the past 10 years, the Jingsi Books and Cafe has held more than 1,000 spiritual training seminars and invited many famous people to share their experiences with Tzu Chi. Through their stories, they hope to nurture goodness in people's hearts.
The first Jingsi Books and Cafe to be situated in a man-made green zone in San Diego, California of the United States, opened its doors to the public on August 5th. Its emphasis on eco-friendliness can be found throughout the store.
30 to 40% of the planet's energy is used up in building construction, and at the same time, this construction produces much waste that pollutes the environment. The United States LEED rating, or LEED rating, for commercial building rates how environmental friendly a building is. The standard helps set the guidelines for the first Jingsi Books and Cafe set in San Diego's first man-made green zone.
We are not LEED, but we are still recycling up to about 75% of our waste. So we try, even though we're not LEED, to be as environmentally friendly with the byproduct of our build.
The soothing atmosphere of this new Jingsi Books and Cafe is achieved using energy-saving LED light bulbs and lights from bamboo. The floor is directly sprayed with low-emission paint.
It's not to the extent that it is too much. It's just another step that you end up incorporating into the build of the project.
Even the company etching Jingsi aphorisms onto the glass is an eco-friendly company.
We have zero waste generated from the process. Everything is printed directly to the surface of the material, and there's zero waste, there's zero discard from the process.
Traditional glass etching technique is done by applying acidic, caustic, or abrasive substance onto the glass. From start to finish, it creates waste and pollution harmful to the environment and people.
We will not do any acid etching anymore. We won't even bring it into the facility. This one cost about $150,000. That keeps many people from investing in the new equipment because of that. However, the operational expense is much reduced.
Put it over and making another sign out.
If an item can be reused, Joseph Parrish will reuse it because a sustainable green company is his philosophy.
You're seeing more and more people in their late 20s, early 30s. We're getting into positions where we're running the company. You want something that's going to perform a certain way, you want it at a certain price, but you're also looking at what is its environmental footprint, and that absolutely becomes part of the equation.
This new Jingsi Books and Cafe embodies Tzu Chi's conservation spirit and detailed planning, and has become a symbol of environmental protection.
In 2009, Typhoon Morakot devastated southern Taiwan, and among the many severely damaged areas was Pingdong's Lingbian Township. Residents here no longer want to be called disaster victims and have decided to come together to make a change. Let's take a look.
Cultivating the beaches and creating forests. If it wasn't for them, we won't be able to do all this. She is one of our elders, Sister Shou Zhen. She is a grandmother now. This is our teacher's mom. She is also helping here. Apart from helping us, I think she plays an important role here in our village.
A group of Lingbian residents from all walks of life arrive every day to volunteer and are slowly changing their surrounding environment.
I think to describe the people working in our studio, we are not here to create a new environment. We want to prove that it is simple to achieve happiness in life.
After Typhoon Morakot, the remaining mud and debris formed a 2-story high dike along the beach. Residents are digging holes to plant trees.
When we were little, we didn't have a dike like that. From the beach to the water, there were some 200 meters in distance. But now it is right in front of us. You see that tree there, that little plant over there. This coconut seedling drifted here, so I planted it.
This coconut tree was planted before we began forestation. The original mangrove was actually further away. From where I lead you in around the corner, that's where we've planted all the trees. We planted them all the way to that gray house. That's 2.2 kilometers. What we have here is the simple leaf shrub chaste tree. We always plant them around the trees because the stems will take root in the sand and protect the environment. This is the first phase of our project. We don't just plant anything, but try to plant as much of the beach morning glory as we can and try to convince our future generations to do the same. You see, it's really hard to dig a hole here.
It is really difficult to plant anything here because the soil is solid, so we must dig a hole. The volunteers are working hard and have planted more than 4,000 seedlings. Taking this truckload of water here as an example, say if I pour this pipe over there and back here, that's one load. It takes 3 days a week to water all 4,000 plants. We go around looking for trees and looking for old beaches. Before, these beaches used to be very clean. Nowadays, all the beaches are like a recycling station. You can find anything there but cash.
Linbian residents are working together to make a change, starting with using solar panels.
That panel over there, the darker colored one, is a photovoltaic panel. We hope that this ecological farming area is a new beginning of an industry. It is symbolic of the hope of a new industry and an example next to the river to inspire Linbian residents to think. We also hope that outsiders will see how hard we are working to coexist with nature and our determination to change for the better.
A life of happiness is easy to realize when one is determined. The Linbian River Basin in Pingdong County has long been a flashpoint for flooding following heavy rain or typhoons. The reasons are too many: too much logging upriver, overdevelopment in the river's floodplains, and overuse of groundwater at the river source. Following Typhoon Morakot, which laid devastation to the area, local government officials took the unique step of laying out a plan to manage the entire river basin. Fish farms such as these are the lifeblood of Linbian and Jiadong village. However, the water for these ponds is all pumped from the ground and thus has turned the area into one of the fastest sinking areas in Taiwan, with 15 centimeters a year of sinkage.
Around Jiadong, you can see many older houses whose second floor now levels with the street, with their first floor being below my waist level. Although new houses have tried to avoid this problem by using extra high supports, the root of the problem remains.
Next to the outlets to the sea lies the Linbian River, which means that during heavy rains, the area is battered from sea waters, as well as the inland Linbian River, which will overflow even the highest dike.
Water from upstream takes about 4 hours to reach the mouth of Linbian River. Those living downstream have it tough, as they are already living below sea level. Fixing the river will take a comprehensive approach of working with the river, as well as the land and vegetation around it.
We are here at the nearby South Da'u Mountain and the source of the Linbian River. To my right is the Wulusi River, and to my left is Laishe River. The intersection of these two rivers has created a steep valley, and directly in front of this valley is the DaAi village's eastern tribe.
Here, a major landslide has blocked the exit of the village. There's no water here. Instead, we see riverbeds of some 10 meters high. Thus, when the rainwater comes down from the mountains, there's nowhere for the water to be absorbed.
We can see how, along the entire length of this dike, are placed with concrete barriers to protect the residents on the other side. Following Typhoon Morakot, the dike was breached and the village flooded. Afterwards, the government rebuilt the dike, but the next year, Typhoon Fanapi once again broke through the dikes.
When it rains, we don't dare stay here. Yes, we have thought about moving. It is too dangerous here.
To restore the health of this river, we need to quickly lead the water downstream so that it flows out into the ocean. But we also want to get as much out of the land's resources as possible. This has led a situation in which we have allowed people to live where it is dangerous. There's no vegetation or ground cover here, no shrubs and no trees. When the water comes, it becomes just like a knife and cuts a path through the exposed topsoil. As it does, the area gets eroded, and within 5 years it will be a landslide area.
Following the lessons from Typhoon Morakot, the Pingdong government decided to take the drastic step of turning the area into Taiwan's first ever planned river basin. First upstream, the government has used subsidies to encourage residents not to log. Downstream, several drainage systems and waterways are being built to keep the river on course and to help reduce the need for pumping waters out to sea. And at the most critical midstream juncture, the river's floodplains have been enlarged so that they can once again help with flood control.
At the Benji Lake to the south of DaAi village is the Limbian River Basin, which is an alluvial fan composed of 10,000 tons of sediment with a layer of gravel on top. This area draws water in its direction, which is then directed to Benji Lake. In 1 second, we can attract 110 tons of water. In 1 year, we estimate we can attract 140 million tons of water, which can then be pumped underground. And if everything works according to plan, the underground water will emerge at the irrigation channels, ready for use. The area of the collected water upstream is immense. When we have taken care of our slopes, forests, and worked on the conservation of these areas, when it rains, 70% of this water will be absorbed by the mountain and its vegetation. Flowing down the mountain to mid-river, it will produce a very large alluvial fan, and the excess runoff will be absorbed by the floodplain. That way, the volume of water downstream will be reduced significantly.
Whether it is in the mountains, cities, or coastline, we see how overdevelopment has clawed its way into every available space. When waters have no more place to run their course, it is unfortunately humans that are the ones to feel the brunt of the damage. What needs to be done now is to change how we see water and to learn to live with it in harmony once again. Only then will we have the opportunity to get ahead of the tragedies and disasters that have been afflicting this nation and change for the better.
The popular firework festival Celebration of Light is held every summer in Vancouver, Canada. The large-scale event and crowd always leaves behind a huge amount of garbage, and thus this year 65 city volunteers were mobilized to help pick up litter and also guide festival participants to sort their rubbish. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.